You're probably wondering why the camera is aimed at my crotch instead of my face where it should be. And the reason is because of a mistake. But here's the thing, I've never in my life made a mistake. So it had me wondering, was this my mistake or was it Twin Cities in Motion's? But first, I gotta take you back across the river. So a couple weeks ago, some of my friends were charging up this very hill right here. And I remember thinking, I wonder what the elevation change, how steep is this hill? And it dawned on me that an easy and quick way to find out would be to look at the elevation chart of the TC 10 mile, because the TC 10 mile runs right up this hill. And that's when I saw it. After the big climb of a hill, the chart indicated that there was a big downhill, bringing us essentially back to where we started elevation-wise. And I remember thinking, where is that downhill? So I began to search. I looked far and wide, and you can see that coming off the bridge here, there is a little bit of a decline, but nowhere near as low as we were on the other side. I mean, you can see from here, the river is way down there. And then coming off the bridge here, turning right, heading up River Road, you can see it's mostly just flat. As proof that there is no hill, allow me to show you a few things. At the 2 mile point though, on the Minneapolis side of the river, you can see that the water is literally like 10 feet below the trail. The water is right here. But over here on the St. Paul side at the 4 mile mark, where there's supposedly another low point, you can see that we are well above the river. Whereas on the other side, we were essentially right at the river side. Here you can see it is a long, long descent on this side of the river to get down to the actual river. The second part relates to my opening shot. See, if I put the camera in the middle of the road, pointed at the horizon, in theory, if there's a hill, as I step back from the camera, I should be moving downward. Per the elevation map, if the elevation drop is 15 meters per mile here, then standing 10 feet back from the camera should drop me low enough to put my face in focus. As you can see though, as I move backwards from the camera, I'm not moving downhill at all. Hence, there's no hill. Third, if you look at the screen here, you can see the ground is flat. The ground enters and exits on both sides of the frame at the exact same height. If it were a hill, that wouldn't be the case. If it were a hill, it would be exiting on one side of the frame lower than on the other side. This raises yet another point. Hills on race courses have names. Think Lemon Drop in Duluth or Heartbreak Hill in Boston. This hill behind me, this is called Fallopian Tube Hill because it just spits you out like a fallopian tube. But what's the name of this giant downhill at mile 4 of the TC 10 mile? And the answer is, it doesn't have a name because it's not a hill. Finally, I asked a friend to send me his GPS watch chart from having run the actual race, and it similarly confirms my suspicions. There is a slight downhill here, but again, nowhere near the elevation chart from TC 10 mile indicates. I even tried walking around in the area as well, and much as I suspected, I couldn't spot any downhill. For me, this raised a lot of questions, and I was determined to get to the bottom of it. No pun intended. I figured that a good place to start would be to make a call to Twin Cities in Motion. Yes, hello. I would like to speak to the manager, please. After getting nowhere on the phone, I remembered that Twin Cities in Motion is a local organization that puts on amazing events here in the Twin Cities that I have nothing but love for. And I decided I would go pay them a visit in person since their headquarters is just a few blocks away from where I live. Ben? Oh, hey, how are you? Yeah, there's nobody here.
That's not what I want to have.
Okay, so I wasn't able to get you any answers about that Phantom Hill, but just wanted to let you know, there is no massive downhill after the massive climb at 2 miles. It's a slight downhill over the bridge, You turn right and it's mostly flat until 4 miles where you start climbing again all the way up summit.